Welcome back to the Iced Coffee Hour. So we have a few things that we want to talk to everybody about, and we figured we may as well just turn on the camera and record.
Yeah, so the biggest thing, I'd say let's start off with a bang. You posted a job listing on Instagram.
I did.
Tell me about it. Why?
$100,000 starting salary.
Dude, what's up with that?
What is up with that, Jack?
Well, I've been pushing Graham
Yeah.
for probably, I don't know how many months now to outsource more things. For years, yeah. To now start outsourcing so he can start spending his time on the stuff that really makes an impact on the business. And I figured that script writing, although, Graham thinks, and I agree, it's one of the most crucial parts of the business, even if Graham can get someone that can write 80% of the script and Graham can just put in that 20% of Graham's spice on top, but it saves Graham a few hours during the day that he can allocate towards other things that he has a bigger ROI on, I said it was worth it. And finally, with enough convincing and chipping away, I got Graham to post a job listing at a $100,000 starting salary. So.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic.
How'd you convince him to spend so much?
Well, I asked Graham, well, I don't know, should I say that? I asked Graham, how much would you pay to have someone that writes every single video for you for an entire year? What would you pay their annual income? And Graham said, a lot of money, a lot. So I said, well, let's start it at $100,000 to make sure people know that it's worth it.
Serious, yes.
Yeah, that it's a serious inquiry.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So I don't believe that role could be filled, but I'm really trying to go in with an open mind and just see.
Mm-hmm. So my argument was that the time that you spend scripting, the time that you spend doing all of these other things that you find very important, I said that those are big wastes of time. And I said one thing that you could be spending your time on that would be a great way to spend your time would be going through different scripts that people have written for you. Even if you spend 3 to 5 hours going through, 100 scripts that people have written, if you find 5 ones that are decent, that's a fantastic way to spend your time.
I think that's the problem, though. That's the key word, decent. I think that there are going to be a few that are decent, but I feel like they're not going to be enough for Graham. Working with Graham on a day-to-day basis, I know how, I don't want to say picky, but how particular you are.
Yeah.
And so I think it's getting Graham to understand that that's okay.
I agree. They're not going to be perfect by any means. And I don't think that's even possible for them to be perfect in Graham's eyes, because Graham's idea of perfection is just like one of the scripts that he's written. But if it's 80% and it saves Graham a little bit of time, and then Graham can train this person just over like maybe a couple of weeks to get this person really good, then I think that's a great way to spend your time.
The hard part that I see is that I've been doing this now for like over 5 years, 3 times a week. I have the experience of knowing the algorithm, knowing what works, and knowing the audience, and knowing which topics do well, that I don't know if that could easily be taught to somebody who isn't as who doesn't spend 5 hours a day in front of the computer reading personal finance. Like, to bring someone, I know how much work I put into this, and I don't think that unless they've been doing it full time already, that I think there's such a steep learning curve. I don't know if I have the patience for that learning curve.
I think you'll find a few that are good enough, and then you'll go on and interview these people, get an idea, and then try to train up these people, give them a few ideas and hints, and it'll be really, really challenging for you, but I think it will be well worth it when you find someone that can do, let's say, 80% of what you do. I think it'll be well worth it.
I would love to see somebody else do it first. Andre Jick would be a good example because we have a similar script, similar outlines, similar topics. I would like to see him.
Can we just buy him out?
Yeah, Andre could write think about it. If Andre
Yeah.
can write scripts that would be sufficient for you to do on your own channel, aren't there plenty of other people that can do that too? You exist.
No,
Andre
but
exists.
Andre's been doing it full
For how
time
long?
For 3 years.
Not 5, right?
Not 5. No.
So there's someone out there. I'm a firm believer.
The only problem is I'm okay, and I understand that Graham does need to outsource some of that work, but I definitely don't want his videos to lose that touch, because we were talking about scripted versus scripted videos from a team versus scripted from the creator, and we can tell the difference in some of the cases.
And you look at the performance between the two. I'm not,
but I'm not saying it can't get better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it can't get better. I'm just saying it will take time, but I think that it is possible.
Yeah, I could tell who scripts their videos themselves and they put their heart and soul into something versus a team. I notice immediately.
I just don't think that outsourcing means that you have to sacrifice quality at all. I think outsourcing, you can actually get better scripts. I think you can find someone that can literally write better scripts than you. I'm certain
But
of
they
it.
don't have the passion. It's that passion that really
Maybe not, but
brings
like I said,
people
what if
in.
they get you to 80% of what you need? And then all of a sudden, instead of spending 8 hours per script, you're spending 2.5, 3 hours per script. That's 5 extra hours that you get.
I also
3 times a week.
I also think that there's going to be a kind of a disconnect between having somebody write the scripts and having somebody find video topics, because I feel like that's throwing a lot to somebody who maybe has never been in the space. And I feel like if you do end up hiring somebody, there's going to be a lot of collaboration in the fact where at first they may not bring video topics that you find suitable, but maybe they only focus on writing and you focus on, okay, let's talk about video topics together. And then you focus on that part. I think to have the trifecta of video topics, perfect writing, and the personality, I don't think anybody's going to emulate that exactly like you do. But getting somebody to be perfect at writing, and then eventually helping them find topics, and then you adding that spice. Nobody's going to add the spice like you do. So taking whatever it is. Oh, you go ahead.
No, I think
ahead.
Graham blushed when you said that. I just thought
right.
it was cute.
Well,
You started snickering first. And
but
that's
you know
why
what I mean. Taking
Yeah.
30 minutes, 40 minutes to add your personal touch at the end. I think you're always going to have to do that, even if you find somebody that can get you 90% there.
You're always going to make edits to the script. I'm
Yeah.
certain of
I
that.
know. That's
Just
why
like
I'm
you
going
always-
in with an open mind. It's like this is the one thing that takes up most of my time that I'm least likely to ever give up.
I just think
So I'm
that's
open, but I'm open to. I'll try it.
I think that's how you're going to scale. I really do. As long as you can
I
continue
wanna
outsourcing.
scale. I don't know if I want to.
You don't want to?
Oh,
I don't know if I do.
I'm very
man.
eager to
Jack
scale.
the other day, he told me,
Yeah.
Graham needs to scale because if he doesn't outsource, I think he's doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how do you define it? Because if you don't
you're
want to
doing a
scale,
Hormozy
that's
there.
fine. Well, kind of. If you don't want to scale, that's fine. But okay, you want me to pull Alex from
want you to pull
Well,
Hormozy.
how do you measure the,
wrong?
how do you measure success? Well, if it's in Graham's eyes money, then yeah, you probably have to outsource to make more money. If you're okay with saying, I will not hire an editor because I am passionate about researching and writing, and I'm okay with leaving a little bit of money on the table, Bailey.
Bailey
if
agrees.
you're okay
Maybe
with
Bailey agrees with
if
me.
you're
That's
okay with
fine.
leaving a little bit of money on the table, then hey, you're right. But then you have to admit that you are doing it solely because you are passionate about it and you are okay with leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
So what is it?
I don't know if I want to scale, Jack. I really don't think so. I've gotten to a point now on the main channel, at least, that yes, it's time consuming, but it's manageable. I enjoy the work with you and Alex. I enjoy meeting up and reviewing the video for edits, and it's just like most of the time it's just Alex and I, and we'll throw some thumbnails your way. DGB will help out on the side. It's a small little team. The only thing I really wanted, my focus is just like continuing to grow the podcast. That's where I feel like the skill, because the main channel, it's kind of like that S curve. You know how you slow start, then meteoric rise.
That
and
sounds
kind of
familiar to what Jack was
plateaus.
saying about certain scalability like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So I totally get that.
I
So
kind
yeah.
of feel like I've hit what I could do on the main channel. Like the only difference I think that I could do that I might try at some point is featuring more people, like we did. Doug DeMuro,
I agree 100%. Yeah.
Pokimane, Kevin O'Leary.
So what if you got a person that does outreach and scheduling? It's like any problem that you may have,
Yeah.
any roadblock in scaling, there's always a solution
But
to
I
it.
don't know. But I feel like you can't do too many of those, and those are just like those are the magical.
You know what? I
moments.
will say, Jack, it is a little weird when I reach out to schedule with people. And like, it's funny because I'm reaching out on Graham's behalf. But then when they connect me with like their assistant, I'm just like, oh, this is weird.
I like it for the most part because I know that I'm going to get a quicker answer from their assistant than I would probably get from them. So I think that's great.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
when we had Matt Stoney on, like, no,
You don't need to throw him
I'm not trying to throw Matt Stoney on the bus. He was great. He just had a really busy 2 months.
Sure, that was challenging,
Yeah.
but the other people that we've also had in that same situation, it's actually been really good. So
It goes both ways. But
does,
I
yeah,
think
it does.
I think I've kind of maximized what I could do on the main channel. I don't think scaling would necessarily lead to more money or more growth.
I honestly was
I
talking
think
mainly
it's-
in
yeah.
free time because I also know that if you have more free time, that can spur creativity. It can also give you time to allocate towards things that maybe you have a higher ROI on, such as like a syndication.
Gosh, I mean, I have such a high ROI on the channel, and I'm working on the syndication with Ryan Pineda, and he's doing so much work on the back end. Like I wouldn't I couldn't spend any time on that because he's like a genius. He already has like everything laid out for that. And it's just like, Graham, what do you think of this deal? Here's why we think it's a good deal. Do you agree with us? What are your thoughts?
Well, he had the structure laid out for his group, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense for you to do all that work if you already have a partner that has the outline of basically everything.
As long as I could keep up 3 videos a week, I'm pretty happy with that. And
makes sense. I mean, I was also talking about giving you free time because you went to Yosemite and you said you had a great time there. And that type of stuff really makes me happy. When you get to go out, enjoy your time and not have to worry so much about work. It's like, I want you to go and swim in Fiji, you know? Like you said, like if you knew that you were going to pass away in like, you know, a week or so, that's something that you would do.
Dark.
I'm just saying, like that's stuff that I wish that you could do right now because you have the means to do so, but you're kind of anchored down.
That we had to phrase it that way to get you to say what you want to do.
There's a time and a place for that. I'm not there yet.
Well, speaking about buying really expensive things, I heard Elon Musk just secured a Twitter deal.
I thought you were about to talk about your aquarium.
Oh my God! Okay, we could talk.
I just bought an aquarium.
We could talk about that a little bit, guys. I bought the aquarium that we were talking about, and things just start adding up. I mean, I bought this aquarium all in $1,500. The first day I have it, my pump breaks. Okay, $400 for a pump.
That's a lot of money.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you. 400. You must be loaded over there because you didn't look too.
You didn't flinch.
Yeah, you.
Jack's like, that's it.
But you want
try a sewer line.
Yeah, try the main line, man. Yeah. 4,300.
Well, maybe in a few years we'll get there. So all in, I'm probably now in like $2,700. I have a feeling that now that I have everything, it's mainly just maintenance at this point.
Yeah.
So, but Elon Musk bought Twitter.
That's pretty crazy too. Yeah.
So
a lot more expensive than a pump.
Yeah, only by a little bit.
Only
if you
by
think
a little
about
bit,
it.
yeah.
But or was it the pump?
I think
no, I don't know.
No, and then he's going to cancel the deal. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so he bought Twitter. He's taking it private. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I like Elon Musk, so I'm not probably the best person to ask on this. I don't care. I don't use Twitter that often. Like, to me, it doesn't bother me. So I'm all for it. I just like him, and I believe in whatever he does.
You?
I have pretty much the exact same opinion. I love everything Elon does, you know, and I'm sure that whatever he's going to do with Twitter is going to take it to the next level. So I guess we'll have to see.
Maybe
Probably
Well, maybe he can get us to use Twitter because I'm on the same boat as you. I don't use Twitter, but like it's crazy that when you think about like, oh, where would the White House post?
Yes,
they're posting on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if whatever they do, they can get me on Twitter. They can get you on Twitter.
I'm not on Twitter either. I hate Twitter.
Yeah. See, so why aren't we using Twitter?
Because people are so angry on Twitter and nasty. It's like it's not a very supportive community.
I think it's turned into a very political place.
Yeah.
More for politics. I'm not like.
But that's the sad part is they take a lot of things that aren't political and then turn them political. Maybe.
So guys, we have to address some of the comments too because I've seen tons of comments that say that we're just filming our work meetings and just posting them. What do you guys have to say about that?
Sounds accurate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The thing is, though, it's like I see myself. I'm like, yo, if Andre was having a work meeting or if Jeremy was having a work meeting, like I would want to tune in. I think that could be really valuable information. Oh, if I could just watch it from my own home, you know, I think that's there could be a lot of valuable information and stuff that because we talk strategy, how we can grow. And I think a lot of other people can benefit from this as well. So, you know, I think it provides value.
Yeah, I think so, too, because if we're doing this privately, we may as well make money from it.
Yeah. And it's also fun because who doesn't want to hear about our like when we have meetings in real life, we also go on tangents.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I could say this. Alex got a little bit of a raise.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like, wait, what? Yeah.
Wait, is it a cost of living raise? Because that affects all of us.
No, it's
no.
not. It's not.
So when I first started editing the videos, Graham started. He does this thing where he likes to split things up to like where it makes sense in his head. I'm like, okay. And so he told me in the beginning, he's like, you know, we're gonna start with this, but then once we get it down, he's like, you know, we'll bump it. And so I waited till like I knew that we had it down, and then I was like, you know, I think you know, because there was a conversation I had with Graham about a month and a half ago where I was like, I'm trying to figure out where to spend my time. And Graham just told me, and we had this conversation maybe twice before that. He's like, you just got to get like the edits down. He's like, they just like, because they were taking too long at that point to review.
We spent like 2 hours reviewing a video.
Yeah. So after that conversation, after we had that maybe once or twice, I just buckled down and like I started paying like closer attention to my cutting. I started watching like YouTube videos on like the audio and stuff, and just paying more attention to Graham when he does it. Like I know it's like stupid to say, but I just like, you know, when you just become like laser focused.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then after I had it down, it probably took me a few weeks to like actually get it down. And then once I sustained it for a month, I talked to Graham. So
Dude, heck yeah.
got a bit of a pay bump. And I also told him, I was like, we had a conversation 2 weeks ago about where I want to spend my free time. And so I told him, I like the free time that I have, but I also want to allocate more towards work. Because I do want to like be able to do what I want, but I also want to be able to grow something. So yeah, we're just testing a few things that I'm going to try to take on. And can we say one of those is the vlog?
You didn't. I didn't want to say this, Alex, but you didn't do what I suggested.
What?
I said that you should bring in the camera. If you're going to be here, we're going to be reviewing. You should be filming. You did not film today.
That is true. That is true.
Every 2 weeks, Alex asks me, "Hey, Graham, how could I scale?
No, I do not ask you that every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
It is not every 2 weeks.
I want to continue growing. And my honest advice was we got to first get good at the videos, and then you came to me and you were talking about free time, this and that. And I told you, honestly, I'd keep the work-life balance that you have.
Yeah.
I think you have enough free time with Kelsey to pursue the passions. You're making more money than you said you wanted to make.
That's still not true.
And you have a schedule.
You guys, you totally missed it. We don't have to go down this rabbit hole.
We can just gloss over it.
But you 100% misunderstood me. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, you have a schedule right now that you could pursue passions, and I think your time is better spent instead of trying to maximize everything.
Yes.
And stressing yourself out or overworking yourself, to leave it be and get really good at what you're doing and enjoy that free time. Because on top of that, Alex is editing Millennial Money.
Yeah.
And so that's a once a week thing, and Alex, you're making more money. And Stefamily was one of those things where this morning, because you asked me like if you wanted to what to do, and I'm not going to remind you. I'm like, because that's the last thing I want to do is have to like remind you.
Yeah.
I just leave it to you. But you did not film earlier today. I was not going to mention that, but that was your opportunity. You could have done that.
Yes, I will say today was probably really chaotic because I'm leaving tomorrow.
There's no room for chaos, Alex.
I know.
There's no room. It doesn't matter if it's chaotic or not. You just got to do it. But it goes to show you've prioritized chaos over money right now, haven't you?
That's a way to put it.
You did. Chaos is more important to you than making more money, and so that's why I said you could enjoy just the schedule of a lot of flexibility for the most part. I mean, obviously we have the videos where it's like it's more of a schedule of like, okay, next day let's try to have this done. But I don't know, man. I think it's either you just self-motivated just to do it, or just enjoy the free time and just chill. Honestly, right?
Yeah, I didn't think to do that this morning.
Would you say your income affects your happiness?
My income affects my after a certain point, no.
Wait, does it?
No, right now?
Yeah.
No.
No, I would say Alex is the happiest I've seen him since he got the Reef Aquarium. Really?
Honestly, I actually do agree with that. I'm awesome. So happy with I'm happy. My biggest thing is money does not make me happy, but learning makes me happy. And so the thing is, I like a lot of interesting things that sometimes spending money would let me learn things, like the Reef Aquarium, or for example, or whatever. Not all of it is super expensive, but learning, I would say, is what makes me happy. Yeah.
That's good.
But that's not to say like I want to have like kids, and that's not to say that I'm not completely unaware of income and how that could potentially help me be more comfortable and give my kid a better life, or have enough money to pay for whatever it is. I'm not completely oblivious to that, but it doesn't make me happy directly by having more money. No.
That's why I told Alex, I think the free time for Alex, you're going to get a better ROI with free time than maximizing your time for money. Not to mention, you live so cheaply. I've seen your place. It's nice.
Actually, I mean, that's...
Yeah, and
I wouldn't say Alex lives extremely cheap.
Yeah, I spend a good amount of money.
Yeah, he buys a lot of tools and
yeah.
Like I mean, the aquarium itself was very expensive.
Yeah, because you're spending like no money on rent.
I mean, you just bought a Lego set that was how much?
Oh yeah. I bought the Titanic Lego. Well, I had that for like a month now, but yeah.
It's an investment though.
I'm trying to flip it.
Are you really?
Yeah, but I'm trying to get, because then I could, if I flip 2 of them, I can get a free one for myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like I've gotten some offers, but I'm trying to extract value out of it. So
how much are you looking to get?
So if you guys are in the Las Vegas area and you're looking for a Titanic Lego set, I'm willing to let it go for $780. So
$780.
How much did you buy it for?
We don't need to put that on the podcast. But if you look it up on the Lego website, it's like
500.
It's like $620.
Why can't people just buy it on the Lego website for $620?
Because it's so sold out.
So you can't buy it anymore.
No. Well, no. It's sold out. No. It's sold out. So I have to flip this before the inventory.
Did you already build it
up again? No, I haven't opened. No, I'm trying to sell it. Why would I build it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I've gotten offered like $720, but I'm holding out.
You're in the Lego market.
Holding out. Yeah, and I have a Lego collection, and last year it did better than the S&P 500.
I want to ask you both: when is the last time you cried, and why?
2 days ago. What about you, Graham?
What's today? Oh gosh, mine was about 2 days ago too.
No way.
Yeah, I did like a full-on cry, or what are you talking, like a tearing up?
Yeah,
like a tear, like a tears came from your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Why?
Well, I injured my back. Does that count?
You actually cried?
Yes.
I thought you were kidding when you said that you cried from.
I told you, right?
Yeah, I thought you were joking.
No, I wasn't joking. You guys have seen me where my back does. So when I put the fish tank together, guys, I was the cabinet is like this. I was laying there for like 6 hours doing the plumbing because I'm stupid and I don't know how to do it. It was my first time. And immediately after I got up, I was like, ugh. And then I woke up the next day and then that was painful. But genuinely made me cry because of the pain.
And were you like...
You guys have seen me where it's like the pain, like I'm over the hill. But like when I was at the peak, I couldn't even like stand.
Yeah. And when you cried, was it like audible crying?
It's a weird question to ask.
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah, that is a weird question. No, it wasn't audible. I was just like, and like just tears just rolled down. Did you want like an emotional cry or...
Maybe we can get onto that. Graham.
Yeah, Graham.
Why'd you cry?
Oh, it was the wedding. It was just
nice.
Really?
Yeah, you tear up a little bit, but you got to keep it strong. You got to suck it up a little bit, not let that show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about you, Jack?
So when I was at a wedding the exact same day Graham was at a wedding, which I think was 2 days ago.
Oh gosh, come on, guys.
Cry the same time.
and
some weird stuff.
We're in sync.
I will say this, my eyes glossed over and I was waiting for a tear to fall or to roll down my face, but it did not.
So you didn't cry?
No. So technically, honestly, the last time that I cried would have been a year and a half ago. Was the last time.
What was that?
Grandma passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the night we went over to Logan Paul's house.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you know she passed away before Logan or after
Before.
Logan? You knew?
Yeah.
Wow, and you still went to Logan Paul's house?
But you didn't say anything?
No, I mean, I took a break. Like, I left because we were all in your house, and I was like, hey, and I excused myself for like 20 minutes, called my mom and everything.
I know.
Yeah.
You guys want to know a terrible story?
Yeah.
What?
When I was 15, I worked at Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. And I got a call from my parents. You're not supposed to have your phone on you, but I had my phone on me, took a call, and my parents told me that my grandma had passed away. And I told like what my supervisor, I was like 15, and they made me finish up my shift. You guys believe that?
Were you crying while working?
Yes. My grandma passed away and I was like 15.
What was the job?
I was like in the games, like you know where you go to like a Six Flags. Have you been to Six Flags?
Not in a while.
Okay, think of like you go down the carnival boardwalk and they have like the throw the ball in the bucket,
sure.
do this,
Yeah.
And that was the job. So
you were in front of people
And you were crying.
yes, and they kept me there
That's
For how
pretty
long?
terrible.
till I finished my shift for like 5 hours.
5 hours.
Were you
Yes.
crying the entire 5 hours? Or
No, I
did it,
probably
like-
stopped crying after like an hour. But
Okay.
like
I'm always curious, like, if for an employer, what would they have done if you left? Is that considered paid time off, or would they just say you could leave? But like,
I don't know. I mean,
pay
I
you
was
the rest of the
15,
day?
so whatever they did.
Yeah.
And you know what was terrible about that job too? When you get in through like security and stuff, they have like this thing because they employ a bunch of 15-year-olds. They have this thing where it's like all the HR people, and you give them like your ticket. Like they print you out your ticket to check you in, and then you have to walk like 20 minutes, sometimes even like 25 minutes to get to where you work. And then when you got there, they would write down the time you got there, and that's when they start the clock.
Why'd you say 25 minutes?
The amusement park.
It's just they put you at the very end?
You
so
could
had
be,
to walk
yeah,
in?
because you could have to walk through 4 different sections. Or maybe not 25, maybe like 15 minutes. But yeah.
But there and back in that time was not accounted for.
Exactly. And they changed that law, I believe, since then. But looking back, I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's a lot of time. And then when you would go on your break and you got like a 20-minute break, they would like write down the time that the manager's like, okay, you're going now. And then they'd write it down. But it takes you like, 5 minutes to get to the break room and then 5 minutes to get back.
Jeez.
I'm like, dude, I'm like, looking back, I'm like, well, I was 15.
Should have created a union.
No, it's whatever. But, I would have thought that when you get to the, if it's like a grocery store, no problem, because the break room's like a 1 minute walk. Nobody cares. But for an amusement park, I feel like a lot of kids were robbed.
Yeah. Did they just sneak off and go on the rides though?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know if I should say this.
Oh, you can say nobody cares.
No, it's good. I used to work at the water park, and sometimes when there was not much action, I would check people into the cabanas, which are just like a fancy tent. If I checked everybody in for the day and there's an extra one, I'd go in and take like a 20-minute nap.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's it. Nothing crazy.
Back when I was a busser at a restaurant, I would sometimes eat bread. Like the bread that they serve to tables before they.
Would you eat like eaten bread though?
No, yeah. I mean, no, I wouldn't eat eaten bread, but I would eat like prime rib and stuff like that. Like if someone,
like if it had a bite like on the spot.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I know that's
gosh.
disgusting. And to someone who doesn't work in the restaurant industry, they don't understand. But if you join the restaurant industry and you're 6 hours into a shift and you're starving, and there's like a huge,
and it was going to go in the garbage anyway,
prime
right?
rib that's going to go in the trash,
right?
And you see a section that doesn't have any cuts in it. You're like, well, I'm pretty hungry.
I would do that. I did that actually at a sushi place.
You used to work at a sushi place?
No, I didn't work there. I was eating there, and I saw this guy, like, he was on a date, and he had barely touched his food, and like they had paid already, and his like sushi was like not barely eaten, and so I was telling a friend, like we're sitting like this, I'm like, he's not gonna finish his food, like are they just gonna throw that out? And my friend jokingly said, you should just ask and see if you could take it. And so I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, just do it. So I was like, hey, excuse me. I see you haven't been eating that. Like, are you going to finish that? And the guy looked at it. He's like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, do you mind? Can I have it? And he's like, sure. And he gave me the suit. Like,
that's like what you see on Extreme Cheapskates.
It looks fine. It was fine, though. I mean,
no, I'm sure it's fine. But like, I wouldn't know how to react if somebody asked.
Did you feel shameful when you asked that?
Kudos
to you, man.
Yeah.
No, I just like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's great.
Good for the planet, right? It doesn't go in the trash. I just feel like it'd be weird if somebody asked me, I'd be like, oh.
But if someone asked me, I would be happy. I would give it to him. But I don't know if I could ask people. That's the thing.
I'd have the same reaction. I'd have the same reaction. I'd be like, well, if I'm not going to eat it, I'm going to be like, sure, take it.
And if I'm going to eat it, I'm going to be like, oh, I just haven't had a chance. Like, I'm going to take it with me. But honestly, part of me wonders, dude, maybe he was like so uptight on his date that he didn't want to like eat too much. And then he felt uncomfortable saying, no, I'm going to take it with me. He was like, sure. Maybe I caught him at the right moment. But anyway, I don't care,
Have you ever been called out for being frugal from like a friend and it was weird?
No.
Not once?
No. They all know me so well that they're like, that's just Graham.
Did you ever think that you took it too far?
Yeah, I brought a Subway to a restaurant once.
No way.
Yeah, you told me about that.
You did?
Yeah, it was a car meet. And I think like I would ration like how much money I'd spend the day, and I'd be like, well, it's a car meet and we drive to Malibu and we do this drive and come back. So I've spent like $20 on gas, and that's kind of like my limit. So I don't want to spend then like another $20 on food at a restaurant. And then it puts you in a weird spot where you like have to figure out how to split the bill. And like sometimes everyone puts their credit card in to split it evenly,
Yeah.
but I would always get the appetizer, which means I have to pay for everyone else's food and drink. And I didn't want to do that.
That's fair.
So I went next door. This is in like the Malibu Country Mart or whatever. There's a Subway there. And so I got a Subway. And I went, and they were like 20 of them at a table. And I got my seat and I just asked for a plate and I brought them my Subway and I ate the Subway with everyone else.
What was your income at the time?
100 and something thousand. I don't know, 120 ish.
You know what? I
Give or
get
take.
that. I get that.
Respect, man. No,
but plus, I would rather have the Subway if it's between spending $30 on a plate of food just because I'm with people I want to spend time with, and I have to spend $30 or I don't eat, or I spend $5 for a Subway sandwich and I enjoy the food more and I get to eat with everybody. This is a big table.
What did
too.
everyone
Like,
around you think?
nobody cared. I mean, it's just like. I sat next to two friends, and they just thought, that's funny. They're like, oh, that's a good idea. I should have done that too.
They're like, that's Graham.
Yeah.
Guys,
Doesn't bother me.
I went to Red Rock Casino today to look at the wedding venues because I'm having my official wedding. I was shocked how expensive it is.
How much?
It's like, so it depends. We could do dinner or lunch. Dinner or lunch.
It's weird to do lunch, but
That's
dinner-
what I
I'm
said,
guessing
but it's
lunch
cheaper.
is like lunch is going to be like $3,500.
Wait, no. How many people?
The minimum is 50. Yeah, and
50?
they have a spending minimum.
It's
So
probably,
we're not going to hit the minimum. So we're going to be at the minimum.
it's probably $10,000 to $15,000 for.
I was
50
thinking like
people.
like 8 grand.
Yeah. Okay. So if we do lunch, it's $6,000. Okay, lunch
for 50 people.
50 people.
That's like 80 bucks a person.
Minimum. So whether you have 30 people, you have to spend at least that much. $6,000. If you do, but I'm not opposed to it. But then I'm like thinking, I'm like, gosh, lunch is such a bad time to have a wedding.
Yeah.
But if you do dinner, 15,000 minimum.
That's what I thought. With 50 people, or
No, that's the spending minimum.
15,000.
Yeah. So think about this. You could have 50 people, right? And your bill may only be like, let's say 12, but you need to hit 15. So then that's where you're going to be like
$300 a person.
So then that's where you're going to have to be like, oh, can we add the, the charcuterie shit?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The charcuterie appetizer. Can we add a dessert table, like to hit the 15? Because you need to hit the 15.
But that's why it helps to have like a presence on social media, because then you can say like, hey, it's free. But it's like, hey, you're going to be here.
So that doesn't even include like having a photographer, having a DJ.
It's like 20 grand.
There's also a smaller room that I consider doing it with Kelsey. I think it was about 10 or 11 grand. And the only difference is for dinner. And the only difference is it's a smaller room.
But you're renting a room. Why don't you talk to Lucky and just get the warehouse, his auto warehouse? It'd be cool. And just do some.
I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not even
floors.
having the wedding for myself, man. My wife wants a wedding.
But she could have a wedding in the automotive life warehouse. I mean, that's cool. You get a DJ there. You can get a DJ.
Yeah, you can have a wedding at my house for like $1,500.
You're gonna charge me to use your house for a wedding?
I'm kidding. No,
what you're buying a room, right? You're buying
and the food.
But you can cater.
Honestly, everyone would be so much more happy with it
guys,
now.
I agree.
Yes.
You guys are acting like I'm not agreeing with you. So I'm saying this was a lot more expensive than I thought.
Yes, I would say for $6,000 you could rent out a big warehouse somewhere in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't matter.
The thing is,
Super Sushi cater, Chipotle caters.
I don't think that's what my wife wants. And aside from that, I mean, her mom set aside money for her to have a wedding.
Okay.
I don't want to spend it because even if it's not my money, it just feels wasteful.
I mean, that is
see,
typical
like,
that
15
the brides.
Well, it's not the full amount. It's not the full amount.
But I just see that like $15,000 you could put. I would say like, honey, we're gonna put this towards a house fund, and this is gonna buy us our house.
That's what I said. I said that, but her mom knows that Kelsey's insistent on having a wedding, so she said, "I have this money, but you have to use it on a wedding."
Then you have to.
Can you just Airbnb a mansion for like $5,000, and then it's
and
like
then spend another like
better.
$2,000 on food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously, like
No, not even $2,000 on food. How many people are you inviting? 30?
Yeah, I was thinking like 38.
no, it'll be a few thousand.
Right, yeah, like
for
2,000 on
for
food.
that for
Really?
like
For them to
good
bring all the food
yes.
and stuff, yeah, it's expensive.
But still, dude, I would just Airbnb like a mansion or something like that. And you could get a crazy place for like a couple grand. You get it for the whole night so you can stay there.
Alex,
Yes.
got a better idea.
What?
Okay, Kelsey's gonna hate this. I think it's a good idea. Spend 15 grand. And then charge for tickets.
I had that idea.
No.
I
Yes.
swear
I
I
think it's a
had that
terrible
idea.
idea.
No. But
I had
listen,
that idea.
you could invite like, hey, 20 subscribers who want to come to this thing. Send an application.
Like I'm gonna
and
be
if
like, hey
approved-
guys, Graham is gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Jack's
gonna be there. Macy's
will
gonna be there. Ramsey's gonna be there.
Yeah,
No.
but like hey, for $500 a ticket,
Andre Jick
you-
is gonna be there. I
yeah,
just start
you
inviting
could-
all of our friends.
You could get a ticket for $5. Who wouldn't want to go to a wedding with all of us?
You know
hang out
what
for the
though?
day, free food.
That would make a great
good venue,
video.
$500 a ticket.
Oh, how
That
I
would
got
make-
a $15,000
that would
wedding for
make
free.
An absolutely banger video.
Seriously, 500 tickets, 20 people. That's 10 grand.
You should just start like inviting Alex Hormozy and stuff just so you can like market it better.
Like the following guests. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Just everyone on the iced coffee.
You know what? Kelsey, I don't think she'd be opposed to that.
Do it.
It's
All right, do
20
it.
And you know
people.
what'd be funny?
Yeah.
It'd be funny if I have a whole website for it, but there's only a certain amount of tickets, and like as the guest, like RSVP, like it goes from like invited to like confirmed.
Talk to Kelsey about it.
I'd feel so bad
because
You should get like Alex
it's
and
a
like
win-win
and
though,
Kevin
right?
or so, whoever appears to do like a keynote too, and you can, you can start marketing that.
do a seminar. No. You're like, and Kevin's going to talk to you about the real estate market.
dude.
No.
Why am
But-
I not actually opposed to that? That's so bad. But it could
yeah.
be. It could, if you think about it, it's kind of like
mean-
a win-win. Like,
Or here's the thing: you could do this and say, "Hey, listen, we'll spend the $15,000 on the wedding, but the ticket prices, that's the house fund." And so that way, it's like you separate the two. And it's like we're going to sell 20 tickets, but we're going to get $10,000 back, and that's going to be our money towards the down payment on the house.
that's not a bad idea because the other thing is like, when people give wedding gifts, they usually give like stuff for the house. Kelsey and I have lived together for the last like 4 years. We don't need anything.
Yeah.
Like, don't send me a toaster. I don't need a toaster. And like, people are like, oh, you should make a wedding registry. Like, I don't want to tell you what to give me.
Yeah.
Don't give me anything. Just like, do you have Venmo? Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Got Venmo.
I just don't want random stuff because it's
I agree.
wasteful. It's more stuff. It's more trash that's going into the, the packaging. It's going into the landfill. I have to throw away my old one or just keep two things for no reason. Just don't buy me
The
stuff.
better thing to buy those experiences for you and Kelsey. Like if someone says like, "Hey, here's a blank
Ticket to the zoo.
ticket to the zoo, ticket to the aquarium," that's probably better.
Well, guys, great point.
Yeah.
Monetizing the wedding.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
We're diving deep again. I have another question. What's the hardest decision you guys have ever made?
Quitting my job and coming here.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like at the surface level, it seems like a no-brainer because you're like, oh, like I like Graham, like I want to work with him. But once you step back and assess the actual risks, it's a huge risk. I mean, I uprooted my life from Wisconsin and I paid money to move here, and I moved me and my girlfriend at the time, now wife, away from our family and friends. If I was out of a job, if I didn't like my job, if I was unhappy, if I just wasn't getting along with my now wife, I mean, then I would be stuck in Vegas. And honestly, that's probably one of the biggest decisions that I've ever had to make.
That's actually funny you say that because for me, it was the exact same thing. It was like dropping out of college and quitting the career path that I was, on and had worked so hard to be on for a long time, and going in full time, dropping out and working with Graham full time. That was probably the hardest decision I've ever made, but I kind of viewed it in a different angle. I thought the risk was staying on the path that I was on. It's like, I think the real risk in there would have been to not take this opportunity than like to, quit college or whatever or take a year off or whatever it may be and go in with this full-time
I think it's
job.
similar because passing up on it, I was like, well, I'm not presented with a risk to do something that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Editing, shooting video, just being creative in general. And to be presented with an opportunity and skip that, then that means that, will something as good come up down the line? So,
Makes sense.
yeah. What about you, Graham?
I don't know. I don't really have. I don't know. Everything I've done has just always felt like it's better than what I'm currently doing.
But you certainly had to have been at a point where you have to make a decision that you're like,
it's going to be when he goes down to 2 videos.
What about hiring Jack or something?
No.
The hardest decision. I hope that wasn't the hardest.
No, that wasn't it.
Well, I'm just saying how apprehensive he is to bring people on. But
no, I can't. I honestly can't think of.
Really? Come on.
Maybe it was getting your first rental property.
What about when you decided to spend all your money on that Lotus instead of like...
was that a hard decision?
No, that was a very easy decision.
You just know what you want, I guess.
Graham's very sure of himself.
That's good, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not many people can say the same thing.
Yeah, because a difficult decision means I'm unsure. Or a hard decision that I made meant I was unsure about something, but I've always been pretty sure of... if I'm going to do something, I'm pretty sure about it.
It's just so fascinating because I feel like I'm posed with like a lot of difficult decisions quite frequently,
Oh yeah.
But Graham he knows exactly where he stands, what he is, and he's confident in everything that he does. I respect it a lot, It's pretty crazy. It's like, it also seems like Graham's made very few missteps in his life. It's like, he went into real estate. He was doing well there. It's like everything that he's really put his time and effort into, he's been successful at so far. And I don't know how much of it that is like mentality versus actual accomplishments and achievements.
I think mentality.
I think it's mentality.
I think so too, because I look back on my life and I'm like, well, I tried drop shipping. I tried this business, but it didn't work. But it's like, you can either see those as failures, like maybe a lot of people do, or you could see it like, maybe I would assume Graham would, and see that as a learning experience. It's like, that's a success, because although I did allocate a lot of time and effort towards it, I learned something that's worth so much more. You
have to remember that not that many people will actually try it. And like, that's something I learned early on as well. Like, think about it, like me making a video to come here, like how many people actually sat down and like, okay, I'm going to get this video done. Like, I know it makes sense to you guys because you guys have the same mentality, but a lot of people don't want the risk, whatever the risk is. Mm-hmm. Or when I was starting my wedding business, people told me I was stupid. Like, I didn't think I was stupid.
People made so much fun of me when I was doing the work with you in the beginning.
Why?
Yeah, because people specifically like some family couldn't believe that I left my job at a bank to come work in Las Vegas.
Yeah, people were giving me endless amounts of crap.
Why?
Because in the beginning, I was not making any money at all, and they saw how much time I was putting into this whole thing.
Me too.
And so especially like when I would tell my parents or something like that, or tell my friends like, oh, I made $50 this weekend, because I used to get paid $50 every time I drove out to LA. Whatever. I'd leave the house at like 6 a.m. to meet Graham at like 8:30 because there was traffic every single time. And
you probably hated that, huh?
And sometimes Graham would forget to send me the $50, whatever he paid me for every weekend of work, and I just wouldn't say anything. Yeah. I was like, you know what? It's worth it not to press it, And sometimes I'd go out and pick up lunch and he wouldn't pay for it. And be like, Graham usually pays for it, but I'm not going to press it. I mean, there was this one time we got a Yoshinoya.
Oh, I love that.
And you didn't pay for it because you sent me out to go get it. And I drove and I spent all the money on gas.
I didn't say something.
Because I didn't, I wanted, honestly, I figured it was a smarter decision for me just to keep quiet and just keep putting the grunt work in and just like doing my thing, providing value and keep going. And also one other thing I want to touch on is because before Graham ever actually paid me for my services, the only thing was a $50 to cover gas and, maybe for my time on those weekends. But then he gave me his Robinhood referral link. And I remember I was telling
this.
And because this is probably 3 years ago at this point. Graham would get Robinhood referrals from his link in his description, and you get a free stock. But Graham I don't know, he probably didn't want to pay me yet or something like that. So he put my link in his description, of his video.
That's so nice.
Instead of him having his link, and they maxed it out at $500. So I knew I was getting paid $500.
Remember this,
and it took me like a month or so to get the $500.
So this was back in like 2019. 2019. But before then, I would keep making these videos on Robinhood, and Robinhood would cap out at $500. And I don't want to get in trouble. I'm sure it's fine. But anyway, I would, every time someone would hit the $500, I'd swap out their link with somebody else's.
I mean, that makes sense. Or otherwise, they're keeping the money.
I got the $500. It capped out. And then I had my dad do it. It capped out. I had Eric at my office do it. Capped out. And I just went through the roster. I'd be like, all right, Eric, just let me know when it caps out, and I'll swap it in with somebody else.
Did you collect a part of that from people?
No comment.
It's funny because I was
What about
already
from Jack?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't collect it from me. But I was actually planning on pitching it to Graham. I was like, oh, if I give it to my friend and I take a spread and you take a spread, then we can like all profit. And I was going to do that, but I also didn't want to push that boundary.
Yeah.
But that was in the beginning. That was the first time I like actually got paid. It was $500 and it took a long time.
You guys want to hear a cool thing I did?
Huh?
One time we did a studio tour of this on the Iced Coffee Art Clips. And I asked Graham for his like Amazon affiliate login, and he never gave it to me. So I linked all the equipment that I bought with mine, and I was like, well, if I ever make good money, I'll split it with Graham. Guess how much money I made?
$0.
Probably $10.
Yeah, like $12, $12.50.
So I get what,
keep all of
about
it.
$4 of that?
So
You keep my percentage.
I was like,
treat yourself.
well, I told you I did it. I don't know. If
Did you?
remember. Yes.
I don't remember that.
I was like, Jack, do you think? I was like, because I was kind of like, I don't want to say I was kind of new, but like I was still kind of. I was like, do you think that's okay? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because the Clips channel at the time I think only had like 1,000 subs or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
All right. One final question. Okay. If you guys could invest in any YouTuber, who would you invest in?
Sonny V2.
That's a great answer.
why?
His content is incredible.
Yeah, it's flawless.
I worry that how long could you keep up that schedule for, and how do you pivot once you like kind of run out of ideas? Is so good.
The scripting is immaculate. Like the editing,
Everything.
the storytelling, everything.
Yeah.
What about
I
you?
watch every video. Yeah. My other one would be Eric.
You think Eric's going to the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's going to hit 10 million subscribers by the end of the year.
I agree with that.
I'm going Matthew Beam, or I'll go maybe Jake Tran. Undervalued stock.
I was going to say.
Undervalued
Jake.
stock?
Yeah.
Gosh. That's just so hard to pick.
Oh, get Colin Samir.
You know what? That's
interesting choice.
a severely overvalued. Severely undervalued stock.
Yeah, slow burn, but I think long term.
When I saw their page,
legs.
and I was like, they only have this many subscribers, I was
what everyone
absolutely
says, yeah.
shocked. But the amount of connections that they were able to make, and the content is just top notch.
I agree.
So,
yeah.
for me, man, it's really hard. There's this channel. I don't know what it's called, which is probably not good, but they explain, maybe you guys have seen it. They explain things about like boats, like
Definitely
like
not.
Yeah, certainly not. I'm buying puts on that like immediately.
Okay. It's really good. They do really good stuff. Or the other one that I thought would be good. Hold on. Give me a second.
You guys heard of Mr. Beast?
There's a channel called Meet Kevin.
Gosh, I don't know. I really don't know. Other than the boat one, you guys have to see the video. You guys have to see the videos. They're really good.
It just
They're
seems
really
so niche that I feel like it'd be difficult. Maybe not. Maybe you can start doing about planes and cars and bikes and stuff. Refrigerators.
They're niche, but the quality is just, and I feel like it's very undervalued. They don't have enough subscribers.
I'll have to check it out.
You don't know their channel name. All right.
That's good marketing.
Definitely.
Well, with that said,
thank you guys
thank
so much
you.
for watching.
Thank you, Alex, for tuning in.
Thank
go
you.
ahead and follow me on Instagram at Alex.
So we're also going to
Get
shout out the
free
mentorship
stock
group down below in the description.
when you sign up for
Instagram JLSSELBY. I want more clout. Graham, you want to shout anything out? Nope. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And
get free stock and the mentorship group.
Yeah. Alex_Nava_photography on Instagram.
GP Stefan on Instagram and TikTok.
JLSSELBY Instagram. Thank you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Alex.